District reconfiguration. An update on the district reconfiguration will be presented. Who's up? Mr. Henshaw.
I'll just start with the construction update, and then Dr. Zaus will touch on transitions. Construction update, just part of the transition is the middle school playground equipment was delivered today.
Oh, look at that.
So then the next step will be the crew will show up from the company to start installing it. So that's exciting, and appreciate building trades kind of helped maintenance department unload that today. So
Good.
We appreciate the students that are participating in that as well. Just a quick couple of pictures. You can kind of see how things are progressing. The tall overhang, the entrance there is starting to take shape now. Just kind of, that's the front entrance on the southwest corner of the building is where this location is. And this is just an interior shot real quick of the office. I had told you 2 weeks ago that the office is the last area to start framing in, and so they're starting to hang sheetrock. They are doing this in sections. They leave some walls out so the plumbers, electricians, and everybody can get in and out with the lifts much easier, and then they'll move on down. So this is standing at the very front of the office looking back down what that exit at the far end will be. Kind of a back door out of the conference room. So we're looking east here. We do have just one change order tonight. The highlighted number 15 is RFP 15. It's some fire dampers that needed to be installed. They had to rework, the architects had to rework some things because of some beams that are located. They were hidden in the ceiling, and so they had to find a way to get around them. And so I think this is 3 fire dampers, and obviously the labor to install those in that corridor, and also at level 100. So the expense of that change order 5 is $3,068.10. My recommendation would be to ask you to approve to take that out of the contingency that was built into the contract, which would lower that contingency to $26,550.91, which is over on the far right. It doesn't actually change the contract amount.
I'll make that motion to approve change order number 5.
You have a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of change order number 5, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Your change order carries.
Okay. Just to draw your attention, there are a few RFPs still outstanding. Down at the bottom is the most recent, the retaining wall north of the on the north property line between Blossom Basket's property and ours. It's a little bit steeper hillside than what our engineers first expected, and we want to have room to be able to come around those stairs on that north side with our lawn mowing equipment and all those type things. So the retaining wall, I've met with Daryl Martin at Blossom Basket, the owner, and we've come to an agreement on a drawing, and so they're working on the final drawings and pricing for that. So that's something that'll come. I've talked about the other ones in the past. This is just an update on where we stand. You can see there we have a balance remaining, $1,629,134 as of the 9th, and there's a check that you're approving tonight, which will take that down a little bit farther. Any questions about construction at all?
Looks good. I toured it the other day with Jim, and it looks really nice inside the lecture room. Really pretty impressive. So good.
Dr. Zaus.
Kelly, you hit the lights so I can see
Yep.
my notes. Thank you. With the master schedules and the transitions, just kind of try to encapsulate what's turned out to be several hours of meetings, even today. I sent out earlier to you all just an agenda, but just to show what's been accomplished. We, on Monday this week, the 20th, went through the core subject, class numbers and schedules, looking to place students at the high school, junior high school, in their respective core classes. And when we looked at those numbers, we started to get a picture of what classes or what sections we needed to make sure that were available, and which of those we could pare back and deploy teachers in other areas. So the decisions about core offerings and teacher assignments, and we kind of overviewed and finalized that for the core areas. We knew that would be the easy task, and we then looked at if there was any implications for our special education program. So we're in a good spot there. With the middle school master schedule, we looked at numbers of teachers we have and numbers of projected students we have for each of those areas. So as a result of those meetings at the 6th grade, we'll have 11 teachers proposed with 290 students, and that class size is at 26. 5th grade at 13 teachers with 313 students, and that's 24 per class. 4th grade at 14 teachers with 326 students at 23 per class. And there were no issues there either with special education. As you well know, that analysis of projections versus reality is an ongoing process for us up until June. And in some cases, we're after Labor Day, we're hiring teachers because class sizes fluctuate, but the total number seems to remain consistent. Then we moved into the exploratories and the art, music, physical education schedule, which we looked at and knew that there would be places as you're moving students that you're going to need to move teachers. We don't have any more students, and in theory you wouldn't need any more teachers because we're not adding, but yet when kids are moving to a building, you know that you're going to need sections of courses in each of those buildings. So we identified from our meeting 3 periods of art that we needed. We finalized the schedule for the junior high as the exploratory, and the electives rotate through. And then middle school, today we met again at 1 o'clock to look at music and all the other exploratory offerings, and think we're at a pretty good spot there. The final decisions about teacher assignments and shared staff, we are still working on it. And the other things that we did during that day, and I'll come back to where we are with the schedule, we plan on April 4th, when we come back at our administrator meeting, to absolutely finalize these numbers. From there, we'll identify individual teachers whose schedules have changed significantly from where they are now, i.e. they have to travel between buildings, and we're planning to meet with those teachers individually at each building, coordinated with the building principals. That's Kelly Craig and I, and the building principals will meet collectively with them. And so by mid-April, we want to make sure that all this is solidified. Okay, so on April 4th, when we come back from break, all the numbers, all the work we did over the last several days, final work will then become known to all the staff, and will become known to, and all those individual teachers will be visited with. And that is undershooting how much brain power it took to make that happen. It was mentally very strenuous.
Logistics, man.
The other part that we discussed is the physical move itself. What are we going to move? How are we going to move it? When will it be moved? And who will be doing the moving? And so that part of it, we have all the principals know that on May 24th, the teachers will be asked to have those that are moving, 4th, 7th, and 9th, know that they're to have their classrooms ready, packed up. We have pallets ordered for each of the buildings to be delivered by Larry Moreland, and shrink wrap. We know what textbooks are going from building to building. I've identified how many of those have a place to have them staged. Our plan is to hire 4 or 5 high school graduates to be seniors, and a staff member with a pallet jack and a truck, and we'll schedule out those days that those things are to happen, and that way coordinating the cleaning of the building, for example, at 4th grade, how many rooms in the center of the middle school can be prepared so when the pallets come, they can go directly into the classroom, with a clean classroom where that teacher goes. That's part of what we did on that day as well, so we feel pretty good about that. And the last piece was the communications plan, which I kind of alluded to. individual, and there'll be sections of staff members. The principals will all, once we have this finalized, it'll be the first look that the assistant principals and all the other directors have, so everyone is talking from the same set of standards, information, and all that will be done. So today was a big day because we finally got the middle school exploratory, we think, in a pretty good spot, but there's still work to be done. I'm sure that many teachers wanted to have it now. I'm sure principals thought they might have it by now, but we'd rather do it right and get the information consistently to them. Test as many of the, I'm sure there's errors at some point in time, but we just got to get it out there and get moving and adjust. As I've said in many of the other things, I think we're trying to get started. The early childhood program won't be the same in a few years based upon experience, and I'm sure the schedule will evolve as a result of living through it. It's not, we don't often reconfigure an entire district, and so I don't have a lot of practice at it, and I don't think anybody else does either. So
Once in a lifetime.
well, so I feel pretty good about that, and I appreciate all the work that went into it. The energy in the room was really kind of neat, and good to see people working together that maybe didn't even have an interest in the middle school schedule, but they were math people and they enjoyed that kind of endeavor. So that was really kind of good. Kind of good to have happen. So
Good.
as far as early childhood goes, just speaking for Laura, we had 6 additional student enrollments occur since the last board meeting when Laura was here. Mr. Henshaw and Mr. Brown, along with all the 3 elementary principals, have gone through the building, specifically looking at what rooms are being utilized, so we know that. We did a little work on filling some of the positions tonight. We're going to continue to post positions and hire teachers for those positions. So the internal moves, by some extent, has happened already. And then Laura is finishing up the equipment orders, and there's progress being made on things from ordering the rugs to for each classroom and all the other things. And the last piece to the early childhood that we had talked about too, that you approved the program with the partnership with East Central College and us, and through Mr. Duncan's effort in recruiting, we've got that over 20 students, and we'll be coming to you with Mr. Henshaw will be proposing that we post that anticipated position tomorrow, and then talk about the position with you at the April 13th meeting, and then look shortly thereafter to have that person in place as well. So
That's fantastic.
and 7th grade activities, you already know, we're replacing coaches in those positions. So things are happening.
Good stuff. Any questions, comments?